India Global.
India Global.
Hello and welcome. Join us as we travel to Cambodia.
The Kingdom of Cambodia, located in Asia, is a parliamentary democracy. The head of state is the king and the head of government, the prime minister.
The majority of the population follow Theravada Buddhism with many rituals from the Hindu tradition.
Khmer is a language spoken, though many speak French and English too.
Phnom Penh, the vibrant capital city, is located at the confluence of three rivers, which includes the Mekong. You just heard a snatch of a Khmer folk song.
India's ambassador to Cambodia, Dinesh K. Patnaik, tells us the fascinating story of the ancient ties that bind India and Cambodia.
Very myth of the creation of Cambodia comes from the story that an Indian prince, Kaudinya, traveled to this land, fell in love with a Naga princess Soma and married her and started the Khmer Empire.
The practice of dressing up the bride and groom in the likeness of the Indian prince and his Naga princes during marriages in Cambodia still continues.
The pervasive Indian influence has become part and parcel of the daily life of the Khmer people, says Envoy Patnaik.
Cambodia itself demonstrates the closeness it has with India. There are thousands of temples all over the place. The number of statues of Indian gods and goddesses which dot the landscape is immense. Most of the streets will have statues of Shiva, Ganesha, Vishnu in all his manifestations, Hanuman. Cambodia is predominantly a Buddhist nation, but Hindu rituals, Hindu mythology pervades their essence.
And Pali and Sanskrit words abound in the Khmer language, points out Ambassador Dinesh Patnaik.
There is a professor who has made a compilation of almost 3,000 words which are similar between the Khmer language and Indian languages. We set up a chair on Buddhist and Sanskrit studies at the Sihanouk Raja Buddhist University in Cambodia.
Talking about the close relations between India and Cambodia that has continued to exist in modern times, Ambassador Patnaik highlights a unique bond and friendship that developed between late King Sihanouk and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru.
In the 1950s, India was associated with the International Control Commission on Indochina. And after Cambodia gained independence from France in 1953, a wonderful relationship built up between the then young King Sihanouk and Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. Sihanouk used to look up to Nehru for advice on political issues, on all international issues. The story goes that Jawaharlal Nehru was supposed to fly to Dien Bien Phu in Vietnam to celebrate the victory of the Vietnamese forces over the French forces. And when they asked for overflight clearance from Cambodia, young King Sihanouk refused, asked why. And he said, I will only give you overflight clearance if Prime Minister Nehru stops in Cambodia on his way to Vietnam. And Nehru obliged. He not only visited Cambodia, he came with his daughter and he met King Sihanouk many, many times. They were among the galaxy of leaders who started the non-aligned movement.
After the fall of the Khmer Rouge regime, India was among the few countries in the world that lent support and recognition to the new Cambodian government, says Ambassador Dinesh Patnaik.
After the Khmer Rouge fell, the new government that was installed was the government of Prime Minister Hun Sen, and we were the first country among the non-socialist countries which recognized Cambodia. Between 1980 and 1991, India came in to help restructure and rebuild the entire country. The Cambodian leadership today never forgets that, and they always tell us of how grateful they are.
The Cambodian government has supported India on all issues at international organizations and fora. In the context of India's Act East policy and the ASEAN, Cambodia is a good partner and important interlocutor. Music of the Roniats, the Cambodian xylophone used in classical music. Indian developmental assistance continues to this day, says Ambassador Patnaik.
India has been helping Cambodia in its development process through lines of credit, through grants, through projects. Power transmission line sector, in education sector, we have built schools, even hospital for adolescent mental patients. We run entrepreneurship development centers, English language training centers. We have integrated into almost every sector of the economy in Cambodia.
The help that India has rendered for the renovation of the magnificent temple complex of Angkor has won international commendation.
The work we are doing on renovating of the temples in Cambodia. It stands out. In the 1980s, Indira Gandhi personally told Prime Minister Hun Sen that should be sending the ASI to help renovate the temples of Angkor, one of the most magnificent temple complex anywhere in the world. India was instrumental in renovation of a large part of the Angkor complex when the Khmer Rouge guerrillas were still active, when bullets were flying, and we did a wonderful job. Today we are renovating Taprom. It's a temple on which trees have grown, and the living and the non-living part of the temple has to be maintained in harmony so that the beauty of the temple comes out in full force. And the work we have done is outstanding. We have got commendations from all over the world.
India's efforts have also aided the growth of the Cambodian economy, says Envoy Patnaik.
Tourism is one of the mainstays of the Cambodian economy. Cambodia has a population of about 14 million people, but they get more than 4 million tourists. And in this, almost 3 million tourists visit the Taprom temple where India is active. We get to tell tourists of the wonderful work that we are doing at the temple.
The unique architectural complex of Priyavihara Shiva Temple is on the World Heritage List, and India's role in ensuring this has won praise from Cambodia's leadership, says Ambassador Patnaik.
Recently, we got a lot of praise and lot of gratitude from the Prime Minister of Cambodia and the leadership about our role in ensuring the inscription of Priyavihar in the World Heritage, as well as in the creation of an international coordinating committee for the Priyavihar Temple. It is a Shiva temple built in the Dangreg mountain range, which resembles the Himalayas, and the mountain on which the Priyavihar is situated resembles Mount Kailash. For thousands of years, people traveled all the way to Priyavihar to pray to Lord Shiva to get his blessings, and this was a pilgrimage which even emperors had to do before they took over charges. Today we have an opportunity to renovate the temple and to recreate the pilgrimages that used to take place of devotees from across the world coming to pay homage to Lord Shiva in his mountain resort.
That was a clip of a Khmer modern song.
Cambodia has witnessed rapid economic growth since the end of the civil war, and there is a vibrancy in economic matters too between India and Cambodia, says Ambassador Dinesh K. Patnaik.
Trade has been increasing rapidly in the last few years. You have to understand, Cambodia was devastated after the Khmer Rouge, and they're building up from scratch. But they have done a wonderful job. They had been growing almost at 10% for about 8 years. And the India-Cambodia bilateral trade in the last few years has been growing rapidly at over 20%. We have still a long way to go, but in basic sectors like agriculture, textiles, machinery, mines, minerals, oil and gas, these are sectors in which India and Cambodia are doing a lot, and there is a huge potential to do more.
Talking about contemporary cultural influences, India's art, films and food are a big draw, says Ambassador Dinesh K. Patnaik.
The art and culture between both countries are extremely close. Indian movies are popular all over Southeast Asia, and Cambodia is no exception. There was a huge and very successful Festival of India which concluded recently.
That wraps up our visit to Cambodia. But before we go, here's a question for you.
Can you name the Pravasi Bharatiya Samman awardee who received this prestigious prize for his contribution to strengthening India's relations with Cambodia?
Send in your answers to indiajourneys360@gmail.com. The first 3 listeners sending in the correct answer will get a music CD from AIR Archives and a DVD from the Ministry of External Affairs.
And here's the answer to the question on Sweden. There is a strong connection between the city of Pune and Sweden, with relations between the two starting as early as the 1930s with the establishment of Swedish companies. And Pune, which has several of them today, has a locality named Svea Nagar after Sweden.
Until next time then, goodbye.
And travel safe.